It's insane that they went out of business. Is there a better advertisement for any car ever?
It just
Honestly,
makes me think it's not a good car.
I don't think it was a good car.
Yeah.
Today, Mikaela, we are going to be ranking the top 5 best fictional cars.
Like cars in the movies.
Okay, Mikaela, what is your number 5?
From Baby Driver, the Subaru Impreza WRX. I know a lot of car guys or like car people or whatever, they love Subarus. I almost always roll my eyes when I see a Subaru because of that. But this is the one movie where it really did show me. I was like, okay, this car can actually move. This car can do some pretty cool stuff and get away. Like get the out of town. But when else would you need to use that?
I actually have never seen the movie.
So basically it's about like robberies and stuff, and he's the getaway driver. It's very well done. I really, really like those scenes.
It sounds like a more fun version of the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling. I have a hot take. There's a certain type of guy that's like, Drive's like my favorite movie. Have you seen Drive? It's fantastic. That's a red flag. The guy doesn't make any emotions.
But anyways, yeah, this car's my number 5. I will say the one, it has to be my number 5 because the one unbelievable part of it is if you're a good getaway driver, you can't choose a red car. Those are the cars that statistically get pulled over the most because they're easiest to see. But still, a very cool car. What's your number 5?
So my number 5, a little bit different than the Subaru Impreza. This is Optimus Prime, the truck Optimus Prime.
Okay.
It's such a cool concept of like, okay, we have all these characters, these robot characters. What vehicles do they become?
It kind of like in a weird way, it's like they're kind of choosing a personality.
Yeah.
Like all of the cars the Transformers are fit their personality.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it's like Optimus Prime is this huge like Mack truck. It's like, yeah, he's large and in charge.
This big blue Mack truck that just transports, stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also a robot. It's like blue and red with like these cool like flames on the side. It's so identifiable. I'm surprised I haven't seen more of those trucks painted to look like that.
If you were a Transformer, what kind of car would you be?
I was a Transformer.
I think I'd be like a Porsche.
Probably like a PT Cruiser. I'm kidding. But who drives PT Cruisers? I see them every now and then.
I think they're fun.
It's like the Penguin and Batman drives one. That's who I imagine drives PT Cruisers. Okay, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is actually the Volkswagen Beetle from Herbie Fully Loaded. Personally, I had a Beetle. I loved it. But even before that, like you can't see that movie and then see a Beetle on the street and not think that thing's probably alive.
They sell eyelashes.
Yeah,
for Beetles.
There's no other car that like they really make stuff like that for. They're people. They're people. I don't know, but that's just a great movie. It's a girl in a car. It's a nice female-led car movie, and I enjoy that. I really love that movie just because it really gave the Volkswagen Beetle personality.
My number 4 is from the hit movie Cars, Lightning McQueen. I had to do Lightning McQueen because for the love of God, if you go into like any classroom from kindergarten to 3rd grade, 5 of those kids have some sort of Lightning McQueen apparel on them. It's like not even close to one of the best Pixar movies, but it is all of their merch. You know that one red backpack with Lightning McQueen?
Yeah, ka-chow.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
I think more people can recognize Lightning McQueen than they can any other car in the world.
So my number 3 is actually going back to your number 4 or 5. I put the Camaro from Transformers Bumblebee.
Okay, I almost did Bumblebee and I was like, it's gotta be Prime.
I almost put it on Optimus Prime, but then I really thought about it. And after Transformers came out, Camaros were the hot commodity. Like everyone got a Camaro because they turned out to be less expensive than everyone thought. And I feel like they just put $1 million on the street. They were getting the stripe down the hood. People were trying to get literally Bumblebee cars.
Besides red, yellow is kind of the coolest car color. That made me think like, wow, a yellow car is really
like a black and yellow car is so fun.
And there's also just such that iconic scene where it's an old Camaro, you know the scene I'm talking about? And then like an actual Camaro goes by and like Bumblebee's like, and it becomes the badass new Camaro. And Shia LaBeouf's like, I'm Shia LaBeouf! God, that movie's so good. My number 3 is the Ferrari from Ferris Bueller. I just remember being sick at home with my VHS of Ferris Bueller, watching it, being like, oh, that is a really cool car.
The 1961 Ferrari 250 GT, California.
Them parking with the valet, and then the cutaway scenes of the valet basically drag racing through downtown Chicago. That's such a good scene. It was so ingrained in me that I learned what an odometer was from that movie, from that car. Where he's like, he knows how many miles have been driven. If you reverse it, it goes backwards.
Is that true?
Not anymore.
Okay.
But that used to be how it was, and it's like, it makes sense, but I had to do that one.
Yeah, that's a great one. I came very close to putting that one on my list. My number 2 is one of those like out of obligation, you kind of have to put it on the list, so that's why I put it at 2 and not number 1. It's because it's obligation, okay, people? The DeLorean from Back to the Future. You can't think of that movie without thinking of the DeLorean.
That's my number 2 as well.
I really had to put it on the list because you can't make this list without this car.
You can't. And what's so cool about that too is that because DeLoreans went bankrupt and there's that whole history of it, as a kid watching that movie, I thought it was a fake car.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool that, like, no, it was a real car. The doors opening like that. It's a time travel machine. It's insane that they went out of business because
I know, that was like the biggest advertisement
ever. Is there a better advertisement for any car ever?
It just
Honestly,
makes me think it's not a good car.
I don't think it was a good car.
Yeah.
But my God, is it cool.
It is very cool.
It's so bad. If you take it up to 88, which is so funny because it's like Teslas and stuff can go 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds.
Which I'm so anti.
I agree. Whenever they're like, oh yeah, this car that people drive on just side streets can go 0 to 100 in a second. It's like, why? That sounds like an accident waiting to happen. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is one that I'm like, is this gonna be your number 1 too? The Ford LTD Country Squire wagon from National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh my God, it's not, but oh my God, I forgot the wood panels.
I know, you can't not think of Clark Griswold without this car.
You cannot think of Clark Griswold in Vacation and also in Christmas Vacation, the opening going under the other truck. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about that car.
I literally was like, holy I just like came up with the holy grail. I love this car because if you see it on the street, you're like, Clark Griswold, there he is, there he goes. So I was like, that to me is like kind of the most iconic car ever.
Absolutely.
It's the family car. And it's just,
it's
so good.
We should get one of those.
I would love to.
Oh my God,
you're
so right.
I was like, I had to put that on my list.
That is so good. My number 1.
What's your number 1?
From Dumb and Dumber. It's the dogmobile. It's the Shaggy Wagon.
That's pretty good.
It's obviously, you don't see them around because it's a car from a movie and they turn it into a dog. One of the funniest second for second, hardest laugh movies ever.
Totally.
And it just starts with Jeff Daniels wearing a dog costume in a dog van with a bunch of dogs, feeding them Wiener Schnitzel.
Foot long! Who's got the foot long?
He gets fired, and then the greatest description ever for it.
Chicks love it. It's a shaggin' wagon.
Now Shaggin' Wagon is part of, I don't know if popular culture's vernacular, but I say it twice a day.
Shaggin' Wagon. That's a really good pick. That's one I didn't even think of. That's so good.
I think this was the hardest list to make because
there are so many.
There were so many that I could argue. Well, anyway, guys, there you have it. Those were our favorite movie cars. Did we miss any of your favorites? I'm sure we did because there are so many of them. There are also a bunch of lists over at ranker.com that list a ton of car stuff. Make sure you guys head over there, see what the general public thinks, put your 2 cents into it, and of course, as always, let us know which one of us you think won. That's Rank vs. Rank, baby.
I'll see you next time, baby.
So yeah.